The following is from the Agency for Instructional Technology, AIT.
Cartoon figures are an exaggeration of real figures. They can be drawn from a variety of simple shapes. The shape you choose to draw will tell a viewer something about your cartoon character. In this program, Paul will show you how to draw caricature figures.
Here's a sketch of a man, realistic man, about 7.5 heads. That means that the height of the body is about 7.5 times the height of the head if I measure it down this way. Now, if we're sketching figures, we think about that as a proportion. But if we're drawing cartoon figures, then we're not concerned with trying to conform to that. We exaggerate. For example, I could take this man now and as a cartoon figure, I'm not concerned. I can make him 3 heads or 2 heads. And I could also exaggerate the face. So, for example, I know what this figure is realistic, about 7-8 heads for the average adult male, and now I can exaggerate and make it only 3 heads, or I can exaggerate the other way and make a small head and a large body, depending on the kind of impression I want to create. Now, we have the small head, and this may be a 8 or 9 head figure, which is certainly an exaggeration. So in cartooning figures, it's best to know what's average and what's right, and then we simply exaggerate from that. Here's a little head, big body, big head, small body. And here to the left, we have the average figure, realistic, one that we would use in what we call figure construction. And exaggerations can also occur with the features. But now, if we look at this person, we get, since it's a 3-head figure, and we look at this as about a 9-head figure, we also get a different feeling about the figure. So in cartooning, you're really creating an atmosphere or a drama, setting up a situation. Now, not only do we enlarge the head or even enlarge the body, we have that option. Another thing in costuming and in action, when you draw a figure, you don't concentrate real hard. It's not like academic subjects, but you do want to create a figure that tells you something about it, even if the figure doesn't talk or there are no words. Now look at some of these, and what is our first impression of these cartoon figures? Here's a happy fella. You notice his facial features and the open mouth and the configuration of his body. It's easy to see he's expressing himself as being very happy. Now this man's clothing tells us something. It's loud, he's walking, he's moving. He could be going to catch a train or an airplane or to a car. He could be a senator or he could be a salesman. This is a far out man. Looks like an alien, somebody from outer space. How can you tell? Look at the shape of the ears and the eyes, and also the color. Now look at this fella. Notice a large head, a large stomach, and a sharp teeth, low brow, and the weapon in his hand is rather crude. He's a caveman. I don't think I'd trust this fella. By the expression, the shape of his body, the way it's posed, and also look what he's wearing, a mask. He looks like a bandit. Notice small head and a large body, powerful arms, small legs. Strong man. He's a strong man. When drawing cartoon figures, I like to start with simple shapes. And you can use a variety of them. Let's think of a pear shape. Something that's larger at one end than the other. Then you can take that same shape and use it in different viewing angles. Here it'd be upside down, the right side up, and this one upside down. And if it was a pear, you would have a stem here. But just think of it as that way. That's a good way to start. So we start with simple figures for the bodies as we would start with simple shapes for the head. If this is the body here, I could even repeat another shape here, and it could be a pear shape. So I have a head, and I have a body. I can add legs. Now, as I draw the legs and the arms, I'm giving expression, or giving the figure action. And I adjust the shape as I go along. I need not stay with the exact shape I started with. But you have to have a beginning. And I do suggest you begin both faces and figures with simple shapes. And you work from there. So now I'm kind of losing the pear shape, but you see how I started. You've seen how I started. And I'm elaborating now, or adding detail, not too much detail to cartoons. If we get too much detail, we lose the original lines and the action lines that we start with. So in cartoons, quite often you'll see action, motion lines that help express. So there's probably a happy person. You can come in later if you wish and color it. But you see the original pear shape, and here's a circular or a marshmallow shape. Now here's the same shape turned the other way. This person would probably be chubbier. I'm still using it for the body. I add the legs and the feet. Add the arms. I'm changing direction with the arms. And when I do that, I'm changing expression. Let me go over that original shape. And this is only one of the shapes you can use. We'll see that there are other shapes, but they are also simple. And that's the important thing to start out, is keep them very simple and add your detail as you go along. Create the expression you want, and you'll find cartooning is a lot of fun. It's really relaxing because the lines can go any place they want to, and you can follow them, change them, and add to them. There are many other simple shapes that we can use, and we can use them in combination. For example, for the body, we can use the oval or the circle. And we can also use it for the head. After we have that, we can add arms and legs and later features. So, as you remember, this arm's back, this leg's up. So you can use the oval for the male or the female. You can also use curved lines such as this. And I can add a simple marshmallow shape, a rounded square. Then within them we can place features and even adjust them and add to them, as I do here. And as we add costume, that helps tell a story also. Tells us something about the person, who they are, or what they do. So here we had the circle, oval. Now here we had curved lines, and they represented the sides of the body. And we can add and color, tone, detail. You can also have long ovals combined with circles. Any of these shapes I start with can be used in combination. And adding arms and legs tell us something about the action. Here's a combination of ovals, curved lines, and straight lines. And this could be a dancing man, tap dancer, or simply a comic or a clown. And if it'd be a tap dancer, and we could show some action lines, such as down here. We do that often in gag cartoons. And we show action lines for arms and legs.
Starting with a simple shape, try drawing your own cartoon figure. Fill a page with different shapes of varied caricatures.
Now you can use these shapes and other shapes in combination to draw cartoon animals. Here's one we haven't used.
Cartooning begins by exaggerating the human figure and basing it on simple shapes. Then adding a cartoon head, limbs, and appropriate costumes, you can create endless cartoon characters. Drawing with Paul Ringler is produced by the Agency for Instructional Technology in association with the Oklahoma Educational Television Authority.